Your emotions can make or break you, and your career hangs in the balance. People think that we go to work and we drop our emotions at the door, and then we go in and we do our work like very logical, uh, analytical thinking human beings, no emotions involved, which when we really think about it, we really know that's not what happens at all. Yeah, traditionally, we were to not bring any emotions to work. And yet, more recently, it's be authentic. You got to be you. So, which is it? Which is it? Bring my emotions? Don't bring my emotions? Well, you have to look at the facts. Number one, the fact is that we are emotional beings. We are wired for emotion, and that is for better and at times for worse, depending on the situation. Another fact is we know that work is not therapy, work is work. And yet another fact is that work tends to get done better and tends to get done faster in an environment of trust. And trust requires authenticity and it requires transparency. So, what do we do with all of that? Do I just, okay, I guess I'll just say everything that's on my mind? Not really. Of course, there's the old adage, moderation in all things. If we go, it's sort of on a spectrum here. If we go too much and too much self-disclosure, we're going to be seen as inappropriate, and it's really going to make people uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward. Whereas if we share too little over on this end, then we don't have that opportunity to really build that trust because people feel like there's hiding, like there's a blockage there. And so we've got to find that happy medium. We've got to find that place in the middle. So you really want to ask yourself, where am I on that spectrum? Do I think I'm somewhere there in the middle, or am I that person who is holding back a lot, or am I that person who is oversharing? And wherever you are, think about what adjustments do you might want to make, because consider how it's worth making those adjustments. Because if you do and you come in more appropriately and more effectively than you have before, you're going to grow that trust. And when people trust you, you're more likely to get promoted. Let's look at two main elements. You're more likely to get promoted at work if you express enthusiasm and you express happiness. Happy people are just easier to be around. And think about it, your boss gave you that job, and it's just like giving someone a gift. When you give someone a gift, you give them a birthday gift, and you kind of want to hear a thank you. You kind of hope that they're going to love it and that they come back and they say 6 months later, I'm still wearing that. That hat is the best hat anyone's ever given me or that I've ever owned. And I wear it in the sun and I wear it. I mean, you want them to express these things. And so for you to express that to your boss, how much you're enjoying your role and how much you're enjoying how you're stretching and you're enjoying what you're learning and how you love contributing and you really enjoy being part of the group. If you're the one who's expressing these things to your boss, wow, that's going to go far. I coach a lot of people who are fairly low on the end of expressing enthusiasm and expressing happiness. These are really, really smart. They're brilliant and talented people who are very focused on the task, very focused on the work and on the projects. And so it just doesn't cross their mind to, it's like, yeah, I've got a job. Now I'm going to do the job. So it doesn't cross their mind to take time out and go to their boss and express that happiness and express that appreciation. There are other people who express too much and they can come across as fake, and these are the over talkers and the over emoters, and it goes too far and it's too much and it makes people feel uncomfortable and it actually backfires and becomes a turnoff. So ask yourself, how do people feel around your energy? Are people attracted to your positive energy? Doesn't mean you have to run around and be a cheerleader, but are people attracted to your positive energy? Are people drawn to you? Do people like being around you? This isn't about personality. This is action. Actions like smiling. Are you smiling at work? And some of you, you know who I'm talking to. If this is resonating, you know you need to smile more and just demonstrate that physical demonstration of happiness, that physical demonstration of appreciation. And are you expressing verbally that appreciation? Appreciation for what someone else has done, for their contribution. Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's your boss. Appreciation for something they have helped you with, something that you have learned from them. And are you just demonstrating joy? Are you demonstrating happiness? And if you're not happy, well, then you know what you need to work on. No matter what your situation is, happiness is something that you can build. And when you build that happiness and when you demonstrate that happiness and that enthusiasm, you're easier to be around, you're more attractive to be around, and ultimately, you're more in line to grow in your career. Online searches on how to be more intelligent are way, way higher than online searches on how to regulate your emotions. Everybody values being and is interested in being smart, and yet no one realizes that the research shows that your success and your career success relies much more heavily on your ability to manage and regulate your emotions than it does on your intelligence. Negative emotions are the killer at work. And you can be real, you can be authentic. It's just that if you go too far, it becomes uncomfortable for people and it gets in the inappropriate land at work. So you got to be thoughtful and you have to be judicious about what you share. Work isn't therapy. But people say, well, here I'm at work and I get triggered by something and my emotions just happen to me. And that is the line where people go wrong because it turns out emotions don't just happen. Lisa Feldman Barrett, psychologist, has come up with an equation around emotions, and it works like this: body sensations plus story equals emotions. So, yes, the body sensations, those do just happen, but the story doesn't just happen. You add the story. Body sensations plus the story that you add, get it? That's the power part. You've got the power because that's something you're adding. You don't need to add that, and we'll talk about that. Body sensations plus story equal emotion. And this is the way it works. Your body is always sending sensory information back to your brain, but it doesn't send information that is specific. It really sends a summary of information. So what you are wind up with is just a general feeling of discomfort, a general feeling of unpleasantness. And then your brain takes over, your mind takes over and says, okay, let me add a story. And that story that you add is based on your past experience. So let's say you're giving a big presentation and your heart is pounding. And that's the body sensation. And then you think, oh, I'm anxious. Well, that's from past experience where you gave presentations before and your heart was pounding and you were anxious and you started down the negative thinking route and I'm going to fail here route. That's all just a story. It's not based in reality. It's not based on the reality of right now and what's happening now. But just like that, you activated the equation of body sensation plus story equals emotion. So what you want to do is you want to grow your ability to change the story. That could be through coaching, it could be through therapy, it could be through things like reading books and learning new things and watching movies or having new experiences that essentially give your brain a new experience of greater possibilities and open up those limits. Really take the lid off that box and open up your brain to, hey, there might be new possibilities and new options rather than just those links I'm making to past experiences, which are I am engineering my emotions to match how bad I felt in the past so that I'm trying to recreate the past in the future, which I don't need to do. You have way more power than you think to regulate your emotions to your benefit, and especially those negative emotions. And when you do that, you strengthen your ability to have emotions and experience and express emotions in your workplace that are going to be beneficial to you in growing your career. So think about how you're managing your emotions at work. Think about your level of, are you expressing happiness and enthusiasm? Think about how you're regulating your negative emotions and ask yourself, where do I want to grow? And then take steps, whether it's coaching or therapy or reading books or podcasts or TED Talks, to take steps to go more in the direction you want to, which is only going to make you more likely to advance in your career.